Awesome. So let's go with Prasang. Prasang says, "Hey Abe, I've been watching your streams and videos for a while now, and I just want to say how much I appreciate the way you review people's 3D artwork. The way you give feedback, honest, helpful, and encouraging really inspires artists like me to keep improving. I'm from India, and I just want to send lots of love and appreciation your way. Your content has taught me so much, and it would mean a lot if you could review your portfolio." Of course, my friend. Currently looking for a job opportunity in the 3D art and game industry, so your feedback will really help me understand where I can improve. Let's take a look. Okay, nice. I feel like I've also seen your portfolio before. So I remember some of this. Jackhammer. Nice textures, man. Like the textures. The modeling is on the simple side of things. What do I mean by this? This is something that I need to clarify. When I say your modeling is on the simple side of things, I mean things like the handle. See that handle right there? That to me just looks like a cube with some vertices pushed in or out. And yes, the texture is really helping you to sell this. But if you take a look at handles, right? Ergonomic handles, machinery, you're gonna see that most of the time handles tend to be a little bit more, interesting. Like that's what's called jackhammer. So if we take a look at the jackhammer, you're gonna see that the handles, again, they tend to be a lot more ergonomic, right? Like there's a little bit more form. It's not just like a sharp cube. There's always a little bit of a bevel or like a grip or something, so that it's more comfortable to hold, because you're gonna be like literally bouncing around with this freaking thing. So we gotta incorporate a little bit more of that complexity on the modeling itself. And it's not that difficult. Here, let me show you real quick how I would approach something like that, because you don't even need to bring this into ZBrush and sculpt it. You could, of course, if you do it, that's definitely gonna help. If we're doing a very basic like handle, right? So instead of having that super basic cube that you have right there, one of the first things that you can do is the following. Let's grab this edges right here. Let's bevel them. Segment and a big fraction to make it a little bit rounder. There we go. Then this one's right here, Control B. Also gonna round them a little bit. So 2 segments and a small fraction. Not as much as the front part, right? Something like that. And then we can add a couple of cuts right here. I'm going like very, very messy right now. But then what you can do is just grab these elements, push them forward a little bit. Like this. Right? Like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of those faces. Control E and a little bit of an offset. A little bit of an offset like that. And then grab like this one's right here. Control E. And another little offset right there. And grab this one's right here. And another little offset right here. There we go. And again, just to give this a little bit of a more interesting look. This is just like free modeling. I'm just like trying to see what works. Just gonna bevel that thing. There we go. A little bit more intense right there. And then we can grab this like top or bottom face right here. And I know some of you are gonna be like, "Oh, but Abe, you have handguns. The topology police are gonna go to your house and they're gonna confiscate your computer." It's like, no, handguns are fine. I'm just gonna extrude, push this up, just make it smaller. Just to create like a little bit of a loop right there. Same thing on the top side here. It's going to extrude. It's going to create an edge loop right there. And then extrude, go in. There we go. So if I press number 3, as you can see, that's going to give me something that looks a lot more interesting, right? And once I have this, I can play with some of these elements and be like, hey, you know what? Like I want to push this thing a little bit more towards the inside right here. Like it's just again, like traditional poly modeling techniques that we're doing. And if this is not gonna be like deform or anything, and this is just our high poly or whatever, for instance here, I kind of want to like sharpen some of these elements. So I'm just gonna grab these edges and just bevel them. What that's gonna do is it's gonna generate a little bit of a sharper look to the grip right there, right? So that could be it. This could be a very basic grip thing. And I'm just gonna say mesh and smooth. And when we smooth this thing, let's say 2 times. This is gonna remove pretty much all of the angles that we have on the element, and now I can take this into ZBrush, continue working with the ergonomic forms or shapes or whatever, and then I do my retopology with proper topology, right? So this is the way you go from, again, a very basic blocky handle right here to something that might look a little bit more interesting. If you, on top of this, add all of the interesting textures and interesting elements that you're adding here with your preparation, then you're gonna have a stronger piece, right? Because again, the modeling side of things, like I know I can share this model with anyone who's just learning modeling, and they are going to be able to do it because it's just basic cylinders, basic extrusions, basic elements. You want to showcase that you can do more complex elements, Prasang, in terms of, again, of modeling. Something like this. This is a great example. It's a lot better, right? Because it has way more complexity to it. All of these cables, again, your texturing is top notch, man. I really like your texturing approach. So this looks great. Now, one of the other things that we need, again, is breakdowns. So we need some wireframes, and we need to know how many texture sets are you using, because this looks like something that you might use for a movie. This definitely looks a little bit high poly or high quality for games. So if you want to do this for games, we definitely need to see the breakdowns. I can see that you're doing the render in Marmoset, but still, nanite mesh workflow. Yeah, I understand the nanite mesh workflow. I know what you're going for, but again, I do think optimizing something like this is important. So show some optimization. Right, like show some wireframes and some like texture sets. Like I want to see how many textures or UVs you're using, because this look amazing, but I'm not sure how well optimized they are. 43 texel density, 1 4K. I mean, yeah, I guess 1 4K map could definitely work. But see, like, look at that density right there. Like a game studio, they're gonna kill you for this. Like that amount of retopology. I understand if you're like, oh, I'm just gonna use nanite. But we've talked about this. Nanite is not just like a free wildcard that you can use and use that to excuse like poor levels of optimization. This is the kind of stuff that's not going to fly in a lot of productions, because for a production to be able to use Nanite, you need three things. You need to be working on a sort of like a AAA studio, or a studio that's working with this AAA like geometries. You need to be using Unreal Engine 5 and be using a version of Unreal Engine 5 that's using Nanite, and you need to make sure that the asset that you're using is using Nanite. So yes, it's amazing. Nanite is a really good technology, but it's not the technology that you need to use everywhere. Okay, so there we go. That's Prasang.